New COVID guidelines will change how you interact with others. Find out what adjustment could bring us closer to normalcy.
In the past, COVID-19 vaccine eligibility included only some Arkansans in Phase 1B.
But we want to get them in the arms of Arkansans because it is what is saving lives.
How the vaccination distribution plan now extends to a new group.
And even with that extension to vaccine eligibility, some service industry workers across the state still can't get vaccinated. I'll tell you how they're feeling affected. UATV starts right now.
Welcome to this Tuesday night edition of UATV. I'm JC Dodd.
And I'm Tristan Hill. Thanks for joining us. The CDC released its first public health recommendations for those fully vaccinated. Those fully vaccinated can meet indoors without masks or physical distancing. They can forego quarantine and testing after exposure if they remain asymptomatic. However, those meeting requirements must still follow regular guidelines in public or those with high risk. And Arkansans can now call a toll-free number for assistance with COVID-19 vaccination appointments. The line opens Monday through Sunday for those struggling with scheduling online. You can contact the hotline from 8 to 6. People can also utilize translation services as needed.
Yesterday, Governor Asa Hutchinson announced Group 1B's eligibility for the COVID vaccination. Essential government employees, food industry workers, and public transportation laborers belong to this round. Hutchinson also emphasized that citizens with mental disabilities should get the vaccine. People over the age of 65 still can receive the vaccine. The decision was made after a decrease of COVID numbers across the state.
But this will allow us to make a big stride in terms of getting all of the categories in 1B available for vaccines.
Hutchinson wants every Arkansan included in 1B vaccinated by the end of the month. The governor's expansion to COVID-19 vaccination eligibility helps a large variety of Arkansans. However, one group of peoples expressed concern over the exclusion. UATV's Caden Hartman gives us a look into the world of some of those workers.
Thanks, JC. Bar workers across the state are not a part of Phase 1B. And with Governor Hutchinson shifting some mandatory pandemic-related directives into voluntary guidelines, it's got some in the bar community concerned.
Yesterday, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson opened up vaccine eligibility to all of Phase 1B.
We are opening up the 1B category to everyone in 1B.
One group of Arkansas workers not included: bar employees.
We seem to be one of the continuously most restricted industries, but we have some of the smallest amount of relief and aid, and we're out here on the front lines, but last in line to get any sort of assistance or vaccine.
Governor Hutchinson has changed many of the state's pandemic-related directives to voluntary guidelines due to the increase in available vaccines. However, for much of the staff at Pinpoint, this won't have much of an effect.
We don't plan on changing any of our rules here at Pinpoint until everybody is at the very least vaccinated on our staff.
His staff might be waiting longer for things to get back to normal, with the governor announcing that eligibility for Phase 1C will come soon. Still, bartenders are not considered a priority.
If it's going to go to somebody, I'd rather it go to, somebody who needs it more than I do.
Those in Phase 1C are expected to become eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine sometime next month.
And now Count says that the restaurant-style seating, along with pandemic restrictions, will continue for the foreseeable future. And he asked any of those who are thinking of visiting Pinpoint Bar to respect the establishment's current rule set. Reporting live in Fayetteville, Caden Hartman, UATV News.
In addition to bartenders, restaurant workers are also not currently eligible for the vaccine. Both groups will gain the opportunity to get vaccinated in Phase 1C. The VA healthcare system announced a drive-through and walk-in vaccine clinic in Fayetteville this week. Veterans must bring their VA ID for verification. The drive-through clinic in the primary care entrance area will open from Wednesday through Friday from 10 to 2. Saturday, the walk-in clinic will open from 10 to 2.
In an email sent out by Chancellor Joe Steinmetz, students can now make an appointment for the COVID vaccine at the Pat Walker Health Center. The students that can receive the vaccine include those that fall under categories 1A and 1B. The university encourages its community to make their own appointment. And on Monday, the Arkansas Department of Health reported more than 130 new COVID cases. Nearly 248,000 recoveries exist. The dashboard shows an addition of 7 confirmed deaths to the virus since yesterday. And Washington County makes up 19 of the confirmed COVID-19 cases.
Health officials updated the COVID-19 dashboard today. The dashboard shows 4 new positive cases on campus, bringing the total cases to 16. The campus recovers 11 cases from the virus. The total number of current recoveries at the U of A sit at more than 2,800.
The university's spring break gets a new look in response to COVID-19. The U of A adjusted the academic calendar to keep a safer environment here on campus. The university broke spring break down into 3 shorter breaks spread throughout the semester. And the school intended to decrease the amount of traveling, but a U of A student shares that it did not change anything.
I know people who are maybe like going to Florida. I know some people that might be going back home, especially even during the last spring break, people went back home.
The CDC offers advice for those who wish to travel during the pandemic, but they encourage everyone to know the risk of taking a trip. For more information on this, you can visit cdc.gov.
The University of Arkansas hosts an in-person spring 2021 graduation. Similar to fall commencement, officials will enforce limited attendance, social distancing, and mask wearing. The number of ceremonies for each college could change depending on the number of students attending.
Kind of like an accomplishment, just being able to walk across the stage, being like, wow, I did this. I spent 4 years in college to complete my degree in business. I want to walk across the stage, after putting in all that hard work.
After applying for graduation, students will receive an email by April 5th with instructions on how to register for commencement attendance.
Join an organization here on campus by giving back to the community. Find out how your donation could impact women and children.
Find out how 2 ASG agents made history this month. I'll give you the story when UATV returns.
In light of Women's History Month, the U of A Black Grad Student Association hosts a toiletry drive. The event takes place in partnership with the Graduate Professional Student Congress. You can participate in March by donating personal hygiene products. The items will go out to women and children's shelters across Northwest Arkansas.
And March marks Women's History Month. This month celebrates women and all of their accomplishments. And 2 U of A women are adding their names to that list. UATV's Kaylin Jackson is live with the story. Kaylin?
March is all about shining a light on powerful women who have set the standard. And we actually have 2 right here on campus. Let's take a look.
Women are powerful. They're really powerful.
Women's History Month is all about highlighting influential women in history. And right here at the University of Arkansas, we have our very own Making Her Story.
Every single student here deserves to feel at home, safe and heard, and every single woman of color deserves that as well.
2 U of A student leaders are continuing to make history as the first in their ASG elected student body positions.
I was in shock.
Words can't describe it.
I also think it's awesome that we made history this year with Kamala Harris becoming our first vice president that is our first African American woman, as well as our first Asian American woman and South Asian American woman. And I feel like our student body executive ticket that just got elected represents that, as well as Tia Anderson is our first African American woman to serve as the vice president, and I am the first Indian American woman to serve as the student body treasurer, and I think that's awesome.
This is a huge milestone for this university, and I just feel like it's shattering a glass ceiling that's been there for so long.
Patel and Anderson share a deep friendship and bond.
Hannah's a sister to me.
Tia is kind of like my soul sister.
I don't know who I'd be without her. We do everything together. When we first found out that we both got elected, I just hugged her, and I just couldn't believe that I could go through this with her.
They also share the same hope for women of color.
I just want all women of color that come onto this campus to know that they can reach for the unimaginable.
No matter if you're a woman or if you're a person of color on this campus, that should never stop you from reaching your goals. You can do anything that you put your mind to.
These 2 women have made their mark in history at the U of A. Of course, with March being Women's History Month, naturally I had to ask Patel and Anderson who the most influential women are in their life, and they both told me their mom. I absolutely loved this because I too share the same sentiment. My mom is the most influential woman in my life. Reporting live for UATV News, I'm Kaylin Jackson.
And Women's History Month events will take place all March long. For more information on upcoming virtual programs you can attend, visit diversity.uark.edu.
The UARK Black Student Caucus holds the university accountable. What they'll be doing to start this conversation.
Instances of racism and hate crimes against Asian and Asian Americans have increased due to COVID-19. How this affects individuals next on UATV.
Saturday, an anti-racist protest will take place for students in March in solidarity across campus. Students should be in front of the Fulbright cafeteria the morning of at 9:30. Everyone's encouraged to bring signs to protest for an anti-racist environment here on campus. Participants must social distance and wear a mask.
Last summer, the death of George Floyd launched the Black Lives Matter movement to new heights. Over the past year, another group of people have become the target of pandemic-inspired racism. UATV's Sean Romberg is live with more. Sean?
Thanks, Tristan. The Asian and Asian American community has been the target of rampant racism as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and pandemic-related fear. But for many people, this has been something they've dealt with their entire lives.
Whether it's
you speak really good English for an Asian,
or
I go into a restaurant and no one can pronounce my name right.
Stereotyping and microaggressions are nothing new to many Asian Americans. The COVID-19 pandemic has fueled hate crimes and racism, targeting Asian Americans in large part due to attacks surrounding the pandemic's origin.
The Chinese virus, Kung Flu.
According to the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism, anti-Asian hate crimes have spiked by 150% in the past year. Asia Nguyen is the president of the Vietnamese Student Association, and she says she's noticed the instances in her hometown of Fort Smith.
There was different statues, like sacred statues, broken and kind of irreplaceable.
Risa Takanaka began writing about her experience as an Asian American to expose others to new viewpoints. She says it started as a way to process the feelings she had been suppressing for years.
As a person of color, it's hard to balance on that tightrope of knowing that it's not my job to educate, but also recognizing that I have these experiences that could open the eyes of a lot of people that I care about.
Both Nguyen and Takanaka say there's no quick fix, but that tackling racism begins with education and finding resources published by minority voices.
Education is everything, and without it, there's no way that we can build, an anti-racist climate.
We can either choose to look intentionally for those resources, or we can choose to live our lives complacently, and I really hope we choose the former.
Now, politicians and organizations alike have issued statements in recent weeks in support of the Asian community, and they all have one common message: stop Asian hate. Reporting live for UATV, I'm Sean Romberg.
You or someone you know can report a hate incident at report.aapi.org.
Yearly conference honors came pouring in for 2 Razorbacks. Find out how they made program history.
And one Gymback earned weekly honors after setting school records. All this and more next on UATV Sports.
And Sawyers here with your Tuesday night sports news. 2 Razorbacks earned SEC honors from their performance on the court. JD Notae was voted SEC 6-Man of the Year, and Moses Moody picked up 3 pieces of hardware. Moody was named to First Team All-SEC and All-SEC Freshman Team, as well as the SEC Freshman of the Year. The Associated Press also elected Moody as the SEC Newcomer of the Year. Moody is the first Razorback to be named SEC Freshman of the Year since Patrick Beverly in 2007, and only the second Razorback to earn the honor. JD Notae was the second Razorback to bring home the six-man award and the first since Eric Ferguson in 2006. On the season, Moody has averaged 17.5 points per game and 44.1% shooting. JD Notae averaged 12.9 points per game this season, shooting 38.1%. The number 8 Razorbacks now look to postseason play with the SEC tournament on the horizon. The Hogs have a bye for the first game and will take on the winner of the match between Georgia and Mizzou in Nashville. That game will air Saturday on the SEC Network at 7 p.m. From Bud Walton to Barnhill, one Jim Back earned weekly SEC honors this week. Junior Kennedy Hambrick was named SEC Co-Gymnast of the Week. Hambrick has been a driving force for the Arkansas gymnastics team this season. In their last meet against the number 12 Auburn Tigers, Hambrick led the team, winning the all-around score with a score of 39.7. This high-scoring meet for Hambrick was infectious as the Jim Back set a program high score for the second time this season. In the meet, Hambrick snagged her 4th vault title and all-around title. The Jim Backs hope to keep this momentum heading into the SEC tournament in Huntsville, Alabama. The team is 5th in the SEC going into the tournament with a 3-4 record. The date of the tournament is still to be announced. And the number 1 ranked Razorback baseball team is gearing up for their next series. The undefeated Omaha Hogs will take on the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs in Ruston, Louisiana, Friday through Sunday. In their last game, the Hogs demolished the Murray State Racers 6-0. The Hogs now sit at 10-0 going into the weekend and are ranked number 1 unanimously for the first time in program history. The number 19 Razorback softball team is taking the Central Arkansas Sugar Bears on in Conway, Arkansas tonight. The game started at 6 p.m. and the score stands at 3-1 at the bottom of the 5th. The Lady Razorbacks dominated the Northwestern State Lady Demons in a resounding 13-2 win. That win stretched their win streak to 15, with the Hogs now sitting at 16-2 on the season. The team hit 4 home runs, 2 coming from infielder Danielle Gibson, one of which was a grand slam. That's all for UATV Sports. We'll be back with more after the break.
Tomorrow's temperatures are a high of 69 and a low of 60.
Yeah, JC, Thursday's forecast is going to be a high of 70 along with a 50% chance of thunderstorms. Friday, the high will be 66 with a chance of thunderstorms that will go up to 70%.
Longer days officially arrive as we prepare to adjust our clocks this weekend.
This Sunday, you can expect for time to spring forward for daylight savings.
Prepare for the change to occur at 2 a.m.
And look forward to now seeing sunsets around 7 to 8 in the evening. That's all the time we have for UATV tonight. I'm Tristan Hill.
And I'm JC Dodd. Make sure you follow us on social media. Have a great night.